Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, welcome again to next round. And today, the main thing what I want to do, or what we want to do, is a practical meditation thing. So I will only explain some, a little bit repeating what I said yesterday to remind you, and then to give some more instructions that are directly related to what we will do in the meditation. So this is the structure we developed yesterday, and my is not working. I don't know why, because it's off. Yes. And one thing I want to emphasize again, because this is really important, and this is one of the basic knowledge and the most important knowledge we can get out of the Enneagram, is this quality of polarity, which is a very basic feature of the nafs amara bisu, as we said yesterday. And this polarity is actually the reason why spirituality is a little bit tricky to understand for us, because I mean, the nafs is in the end is completely imprisoned in this polarity and can only think in this structure. It can actually not understand spiritual power. This is something else. And the thing is also, when we, for example, when some human being come to religion, usually it may be like this: that before he was what I call worldly excess, so he was giving himself to the world and to worldly projects, and suddenly maybe there comes an insight that leads for him to nothing. Mostly this is like this the case, more or less shocking for him. And then there comes the idea to search something else, and this is the way then people come to spirituality. But then what often happens, and this is a very tricky, I mean, maybe the most popular mistake what is happening then when people come to spirituality or to religion, then they are unhappy with the state how they are. So they are sorry for their bad qualities, and even they maybe start to hate themselves for their bad qualities, and they want to change. And the problem is here, the problem is that in the end, every bad quality in the soul comes, the reason for it is, as we said yesterday, that we want things different like they are. So this is the reason for every bad quality in the end. For example, a thief, he has not what he wants, so he's make a robbery and catching it, and so on. I mean, every bad quality we can reduce on this structure, that somebody is not happy with things how they are. But now, when you turn, let's say, from the dark path to the good path, then again you may have the intention, I want to change, I want to be different. But in this case, again you want something. You understand? Again you make the same mistake, only it's the same thing in green. What you did before, then you make again, only now under another flag. Now you make, but you in the end again you make the same mistake. You make a difference. You are not happy with the state how you are, and you want to change it. I mean, change it by direct attack, so to say, directly to change it. And this is not going to work because of this polarity, and that is why I called it the trap of polarity. Because then you only change the objective but you are again in the same structure. And as we said yesterday, people who do it, let's say, excessively, they are people who do religion without any spirituality, like maybe extremist Wahhabi people or whatever. They take it just as an ideology and they just put themselves under pressure. And this is not going to work. And actually this little bit is because it's Quran and I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Huh?
Already finished is do dua now.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, another good news. Okay. So just have to find my thread again. Yeah, it is very important. This is a very important point to find the right point to change the structure. That we don't hate ourselves and we don't hate our bad qualities. Maulana Shaykh Nazim, he said, once I heard from him, he said a very important thing about it. He said, it is not allowed to hate your bad qualities because every bad quality in ourselves is actually a pre-state of a good quality. So there is wisdom behind it. It's not just bad. It's a pre-state. And he said, he said once, the key is if you take bad qualities and you mix it with love, they become good qualities. So this is, I mean, don't refuse your bad qualities because they are like the raw material for your good qualities. This is very important to understand the process of transformation.
But in this case, we are also in the polarity.
Sorry?
Bad quality. We are also, as what you are saying, we are also in the polarity.
Yes.
I have a bad quality.
Yes.
And I accept that bad quality.
Yes.
In intention to change it.
Yes.
And when then change it, I'm not in the polarity again?
You mean if you just accept it, then you are in the polarity?
No, I accept my bad quality.
Okay. Yes. There's two. Yes. It is. As I said, it is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Because the nafs is not. Yes. Yes. I will explain. Because it's really tricky because the nafs is not used to this kind of thinking. The nafs actually cannot do it. It's a little bit tricky to understand it. It is like this. When you have a bad quality, there is two possibilities which are leading to no result. One possibility is you just let it flow and you just don't care and you say, okay, it's like this, and you feed the bad quality. This is one, and this will for sure leave you in the bad quality. When you don't face it, you don't do anything. You will just remain like this and become worse, maybe. The other possibility, which also leads to nothing, is if you directly oppose it. Because then again, maybe you can say, then you hate yourself and you again do the same mistake, putting a difference. You don't accept reality as Allah is creating it right now. Because Allah, if you have bad quality, Allah is creating it right now like this. So the thing is to understand there is a wisdom behind it, and not to develop this mentality that we want to change it directly. But as Maulana said, to understand these bad qualities, to understand it as the raw material, what we need, as Maulana said, if you mix bad qualities, if you mix them with love, they turn to good qualities. So it is. I will explain a little bit more, like in the next slides. It is like this. This is the same thing which the masters mean when they say you cannot change yourself, because this will not work. If you want to change yourself, you will be again caught in the polarity because it will strike back. The nafs is striking back. With the same power you attack it, it will sooner or later it will strike back. And the result is 0. So how to find the point how change can be done. This is actually the basic or the main knowledge what you can get out of the Enneagram. Because the Enneagram it shows the arrangement of the energies, and in this arrangement of the energies you will find the solution. How to overcome this trap of polarity. This is maybe the most precious thing what we can get out of it. And it is like this. When we have, it is in the end it is like this, as Maulana said. If we have our state we are in right now, and we have good qualities, we have bad qualities, whatever. But the point is, or the important thing is, that we have to change our point of view. We have to look at the whole structure from a different point of view, so that we are not imprisoned in the structure, but we have to find a point where we are able, so to say, to look on it from above. And to look on it with love, as Maulana said. And if you maybe develop this mentality that you understand your bad qualities as a wisdom, that there is a reason for it, and you meditate about this, and then let's say, to give an example, maybe you can say, okay, I accept it now as it is now, and at the same time I ask Allah to change it, but I don't attack it. I mean, I don't put pressure. I just ask, and I just ask Allah to change it, and I just put, true self-love to myself. I mean, I respect myself, that in this moment, I am like this. And I know this is maybe the most tricky point from spirituality. I mean, to find the right attitude that change can happen. But in the next slides, maybe things will become also more clear. And I hope also in the practical thing we will do, we will make like a guided meditation, and I hope somehow we can produce a little bit taste of what I'm talking about now theoretically. Okay, then I want to only to mention, I forgot yesterday, only to mention on it, if somebody maybe comes across or came across already or comes across in the future to this theory of 9 types. This is when you Google Enneagram, or if you check bookshops for Enneagram, you will find loads and loads of books and information, but only about this type theory. I mean, 99.99% of Enneagram knowledge, what is present in the minds and in the books today, is all about this theory. And as I said yesterday, I refuse it and I don't like it, because in my mind it's really it's leading astray. It's not a proper interpretation of the symbol, but it's a pure invention, a creative invention of Oscar Ichazo, of this South American esoteric. And to give you just give you the main argument why it is not valid. As you can see here, the 9 type theory, they just put 9 different types, they put it into categories, and they just put 1 type on every point of the Enneagram. And they put in the same way, they put types here on this structure, what we said is the nafs amara bisu. They put types on the upright triangle. And this means they don't understand the meaning of the upright triangle. And the upright triangle, the meaning of it is that it is the spirit, and in the end, this is the force which is causing transformation. So you can say, in short, in the theory of the 9 types, the whole idea of transformation is lost. You know? They try to, they do something like they say, okay, this type, maybe he has to develop in the direction of this type, or 2 has to be, they try to imitate something, but this is not true spiritual transformation, because in real spirituality you are not told, okay, you are wrong like this and you have to be like this now. You are not told to become this and that, because then again you are in the same trap of polarity as we said before. But in true spirituality you are told that the aim is that you become yourself. You become something which you have no idea of it, what it really is. It is something which is hidden behind the curtain, and it will come to you whenever it likes. So these kind of theories, like many other esoteric theories, what they do in the end, they create pressure in one or the other way. They put pressure that we have to be like this, we have to be whatever, more kind, we have to be. But this is not this is not, as we said, because of the polarity. This is not how transformation can take place. If I want to be something, my nafs strikes back. No discussion on it. It's like this. If you have put a certain wish, you want to be this, sooner or later the nafs strikes back in exactly the opposite, and you will find yourself doing exactly the opposite. And then the result is 0 always. It's always like this. It's a law. It's a cosmic law. Okay, now we try to come closer to the idea how in spite of this polarity structure, how transformation nevertheless can happen. And the important agent for this is, as we said before, is this upright triangle, is the spirit. The spiritual power. And the spiritual power in different traditions has many names. It is the same what is called prana in India, what is called chi in the Far Eastern tradition, or ki, or in the Islamic tradition you can also call it baraka. It's also, in the end, it's like this. If there is baraka coming, then transformation, things opening up. This is the same thing. And in order to attract this spiritual power, or baraka, or however we will call it, we have to find we have to find our attitude. I mean, this is the secret actually in the spiritual path, to find the attitude that we can attract this transformational power. And this is, I mean, I can make many words and talk over and over again. In the end, it's a sublime thing. It cannot be put black on white. It can be described in many. It can be described by poems. It can be described, like here, by symbols. But in the end, it's a sublime experience everybody has to make for himself, for herself. It's like this, because it cannot be put into words. But then in the symbol, in the Enneagram symbol, as we said yesterday when we talked about the basic forces which we have in our soul, we said that the 3 basic forces before the fall of man takes place is consciousness coming from our being, willpower coming from nothing, and love which can put both of them together, which can balance both of them. So in the Enneagram we have two lines that are developing, that are possibly can develop. One line is the line of willpower, which is starting. You have now to think again that the structure, what we have in our upright body in a straight position, in the Enneagram it is bowed into a circle. So here is down, and we go through the three levels of the soul: the vital soul, emotional soul, mental soul. We go up. And the line of willpower, I mean the root of willpower, is at the sacrum, and the line of willpower, I mean the development line, is going up. Consciousness, exactly the opposite. Consciousness is going, the root of consciousness is on our crown chakra, and the development is that the consciousness is going into all of our structure. And I have it, yes, I have it in the next slide. So it's like this. The Enneagram is also an important thing to know. The Enneagram has to be read in two directions. One is the line of willpower from down to up. One is the line of consciousness from up to down. But in both cases, it is leading to the higher octave. I mean, to the, like a spiral developing. And Gurdjieff, if for those who maybe studied Gurdjieff a little bit, who read something, he talks about two, as he calls it, shocks, which are necessary to make this development or this transformation happen. So somehow the willpower has to overcome the structure of the nafs, I mean overcome the polarity structure, and in the same way the consciousness has also to overcome the polarity structure. And now he said that there is in the octave that there is one shock needed at this point between these two, in this interval, that from the symbol, from the Enneagram symbol, there is a certain shock needed here to make the line of willpower not to get stuck, but to develop. And in the line of consciousness is exactly the opposite way around. So the consciousness is developing, and it needs a certain shock, a certain impulse, that it can develop further and not get stuck in the thoughts. And what we say yesterday about the buffers, about the whales, regarding the line of willpower, what usually happens if we don't make a spiritual effort in form of zikr or however, it will get stuck, because we say this line is the sensual perception. So our willpower, when it comes up on here, and finally it meets this area, and it will be distracted by the physical world, the willpower, the desires, and form into desires, and the energy will be taken by the physical world. So in order to overcome the veil of the physical world, on this point we need an inner effort related to consciousness. That is, to speak it out in a clear way, we have to remind our own being on this point.
But what does shock mean?
Yeah, this is a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy term of Gurdjieff. It means that there is the development is stopping at this point, and you need a certain impulse, a certain effort to make the development going along, to continuing.
Be such impact because the willpower is active. The willpower is at work.
Yes, exactly. And if the willpower, usually then the willpower is directly then absorbed by the physical world and is going for some physical object. It will be distracted and dispersed into the physical world and not reach to the spiritual. This is what's happening here. This is the idea, what is happening. And this is why from inside, let's say, because the spirit is something which is not coming from outside, it's from inside, you have to make a certain effort from yourself to support the development on this point, meaning on point of the where the physical reality comes in, to support the willpower that it can finally reach to the spiritual realm. And for willpower is exactly the opposite. In order to not that the consciousness is not being distracted in thoughts, because this is what it usually does. The consciousness is thoughts. You can say thoughts are nothing else than distracted consciousness, distracted informations. What you, instead of keeping it, let's say, a pure consciousness, which is the pure remembering of pure being, you put forms. The consciousness is creating forms instead.
Another question: to be aware of this dangerous area between me and Fa.
Yes.
What do this me and Fa mean?
When
do I realize when do I have to take care?
Yeah, this is.
How do I realize that I'm in the state of me or at the point of?
Yes. I mean, the process is going on all the time. You are not at a certain point. The Enneagram and the whole process is always at work. So you cannot say you are now at a certain point. Somehow the power in yourself is at a certain point, but not you as a whole. You are always the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And but these energies are always moving in ourselves, and I mean, on this point, maybe it is good. I mean, that we become not too much theoretical. It is something more to be experienced. It is not. I mean, it would be possible to analyze it in a more theoretical way, but I would like to do it like this, that I just leave it a little bit by these explanations, and these explanations are just like a basis, and what we do now in the practical meditation is kind of independent of it. I mean, I will guide through the meditation, so you don't have to remind all the time, or what was it again in the Enneagram. I will just give some instructions, and if you follow the instructions, hopefully you get an inner idea of what it is.
Now I remember that in the area of Re and Me,
yes,
there is the vital soul.
Yes, exactly.
And at the bottom is emotional soul. So between these states, I am in danger. I'm at risk to be distracted by sensual perceptions.
Yes, the danger is or danger for the spirituality is that the vital soul is creating polarities of desires, and these desires, they are caused by the physical world. So the danger is that your genuine willpower, which you have, is distracted when you come into contact with physical reality. Then even on a, you are not really, this is also something which is not really conscious. It becomes conscious when suddenly in your mind there is a certain idea what to do now. But the nafs was before acting on the level of the vital soul and just has something like a blind desire to have something. And this is quite unconscious. Maybe you feel it like a tension of you feel that you want something, but it becomes conscious at this point when it creates also a special idea what to do now. It is many of these things is going on unconsciously. This is also why it is a little bit useless to explain it too much detailed, because it is mainly an unconscious structure.
Please, maybe I'm not clever, I'm sorry, but re, mi, fa, what's the termination?
It is the old. It was used by Gurdjieff, and this is just the old intonation for the octave. What they used.
It's the music.
Yes, yes. Loud. Yes, exactly. Today also they do like this. If you practice as a singer, you will repeat it all the time. Do re mi fa sol la si do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Why is it used there? Why did they use that?
There is the background of it is actually a cosmological thing. So Re means Regina Coelis, and Regina Coelis is the moon. Mi is related to Mercury, but I forgot the Latin term, and so on. Is related to the planets, other names for the planets. Because music was, as I said yesterday, harmonics and music was the most popular basic science to understand everything. And so it is related to this astrological, cosmological stuff. Okay. Then, to become now more to the meditation part, when we look, as we said, that in the Enneagram is bowed into the circle and our structure is upright, we can draw the two lines of development. Like we said, willpower is the spiral going like this, consciousness is the spiral going like this. And going from down to up, going from up to down. So line of willpower going from down to up. Consciousness going from up to down. And if you look at these positions of the triangle, we say consciousness is needed here. If we project it on the human being image, we can see the location of this impulse. What we have to put it has to be put here, because you understand the line of willpower going up, the impulse to support this line at the point of mi fa has to be put in this area somewhere. And for the consciousness, exactly the opposite way down. The impulse of willpower to support the line of consciousness has to be put in this area. And this is related to the chakra system.
I have a question regarding this. Can consciousness and willpower be seen as attributes of the spirit or different energies of the spirit?
Yes, yes. Consciousness and willpower, in the sense of pure consciousness and pure willpower, can be seen as energies of the spirit, And then when we come to lower levels, like the soul is the next level and the body is the next level, these energies are more distracting. So you can say the pure consciousness, you may say it is like a white light. And when it comes in the area of the soul, it is distracted into the colored, into the different colors.
I can make available these energies
Yes.
by opening the lataives.
Yes.
The according lataives.
The spirit is inside of you, and the spirit has these powers, and these powers are inside of you, and you can access your spiritual consciousness, and you can access your spiritual willpower, and you can access your spiritual power of love. This is all inside of everybody, every person. This has not to be built up. It's already there. The thing is to connect to it. We are disconnected because we are distracted. We are attached to the material level, and so even if these powers are inside of ourselves permanently, all the time, because if they would not be present, we directly would fall down. This is basics. It's the basis of our life. That there is consciousness, there is willpower, and only we don't feel it directly because we are distracted and disconnected. Like the Shaykh say, Maulana used to say always, "I'm always with you, but you are not with me." This is the same thing in a way, because you can also say that this inner triangle is the power which with the Shaykh wants to connect you all the time. This is his aim. This is his mission, to connect, to disattach your soul from the world and to reconnect it to the spirit. Somewhere between here, the Shaykh, you can locate the Shaykh, and he is working hard to give you impulses that you reconnect to the spirit. And next, to come even closer to what we're going to do next. But don't ask me now about this circle, why exactly this circle. It would need more explanation. I mean, just take it as I say it. This is in the end the circle of the Nafs Amara Bisu, because we remember this was the expanding triangle. And this circle is very important to find these points which we have to use it. So for the point where the consciousness has to be brought in the line of willpower, we use this point, which is known in the Eastern tradition as Hara. Maybe you know it from the martial arts. It is like 3 or 4 fingers under the navel. So this point, we will use it to give an impulse of consciousness to ourselves. And in Arabic, this is called Bahrun Nar. This means ocean of fire, this point. And this is also another point. It's called Bahrun Nur. It is above, and you can see Bahrun Nur is where the triangle, when the soul becomes pure, then it is located on this point. But when it is Nafs Amara Bisu, it is down, it is located on this point. But where we have to put the impulse of consciousness is actually this point. And the impulse of willpower to support the line of consciousness is on the point which we call, it's like this, the third eye, which is also known in many traditions, is the third eye, and which is called Nafs Anatika in the Arabic tradition, the talking self. Why the talking self? Because here you can all the way down there, the thoughts are going through, and it's talking to you all the time. And here we have to put the impulse of willpower.
How can we do this?
We will do it. We will do it right now. So
it's not, sorry, because it's not dangerous to open
No.
the third eye, because they said it's not okay for to...
No, we will not open it. It will not be opened by...
But, if you do exercises, you can.
I mean, to open it, this is beyond our level. We cannot open it. If we do if we put now some impulses here and there, we will just activate a little bit the structure. We will not open anything in the complete way, because the soul has also one feature. It is always self-protecting. So usually, when you don't do, very heavy mistakes in form of drugs or whatever that you really manipulate, the soul will not make an opening to something which is dangerous for you. The soul is intelligent, and it will always know what you can carry and what you cannot carry, and only opening in harmonious way. Okay, this is lightened now.
Is that in the navel or also above the navel?
It is the solar plexus. No, not really. It is no. It's a one down under. It's usually it should be a little bit above the navel. I don't know where the navel.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult.
I think this is the navel, and this is a little
okay.
bit. Yeah. I'm using this figure because it is, I think, the most perfect image of a human being what you can find in the tradition. But I think this is the navel, and and then when these two lines of, the line of willpower and the line of consciousness, when they develop and they overcome the polarity, as we said, then where is it? Bewusstsein. Crazy. My computer is crazy. I don't know why. In the end, these two lines, when, let's say, the line of willpower is developing and coming through, and the line of consciousness this is a crossover movement. In the end, to bind these two lines together, then the impulse of love comes into play. So this is the third impulse what we have to put during the meditation, and the impulse of love is in the center of the chest. You can give it. This is the right point for love. To put love. So what we will do in the meditation, we will start with the impulse of consciousness, then after this we will go to the impulse of willpower, and in the end we will bind it together with the impulse of love. And hopefully you will feel your chakra system at work. This is our...
Is a result of consciousness and willpower coming together, or can you or could be love the source or the driver for bringing them together also?
Love is actually the power which is bringing consciousness and willpower together. For example, if you love a beautiful lady, it's the same. You have willpower, you want something, and the physical world is giving you an image or a lady which is fitting to this. So consciousness and willpower coming together in this lady, and you feel attracted. So love is always the power which, when consciousness and willpower are combined, this is love. And to give a picture of it, you have to, let's say, imagine consciousness as a white spot, willpower as a black spot, and they try to find each other, and love is the power where you can put them in one, you can make the congruence between both of them, and they are in unity. This is the love in this spiritual sense. And I mean, from the Enneagram, this information that you have to make this kind of crossover movement, like the source of consciousness is up, the source of willpower is down, and I mean, don't underrate this information that you have this, make this crossover movement. This is the starting of the, with this crossover movement energetically, you will start the transformation process. This is an information from the Enneagram coming because of the positions of the points what we had before. And the same thing, to give another example from the traditional symbolics, the same thing you can find in the yin-yang symbol. The same information about this crossover movement, that you have to activate the willpower by consciousness, and you have to activate the consciousness by willpower. And this can be found in the yin-yang symbol, because in the tradition of Taoism they say in the beginning it's like two divided powers, consciousness, willpower. In order to make the thing, to put it into flow, you have to, they say in the tradition, you have to put these two spots. You have to make the same crossover movement to trigger the willpower by consciousness, to trigger the consciousness by willpower. And by this you create a kind of flow. And yeah, hopefully we will produce it after some seconds.
Well, sorry for this question, if I want to follow well. Willpower means la volonté in French. I want this, I want
Yes.
to learn music.
Yes.
Willpower.
The force which makes things happen that you want.
Yeah. And the consciousness, what is
Is the source of awareness.
for example, what's
Whatever, if you are aware of something, it is in your consciousness. Yeah. Okay, and what we will do practically, another question?
Yeah, I like, and the energy, Kundalini energy,
It is related to this, but
it's different energy?
I will say something about it tomorrow. It is related to this, but I explain something tomorrow. It's not. It will mix it a little bit confused.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we will do practically, after some minute, we will do also connected with breathing. We will do it by inhaling. We will say like "ya." I mean, we do it silent because inhaling you cannot speak out. It's clear. You have to breathe in by the syllable of "ya" and breathe out by the syllable of "hu." And by the syllable of "ya," you concentrate on this point, and we will do the "ya," "hu," breathing out, breathing in. First we will concentrate the consciousness on this point, that to build it up. After some minutes we will change to more concentrate on this point. Then we will keep this point also present for us. We will not leave it, but we will put the main concentration on this point. And this we will do for some minute, and then we will change from the "ya," "hu," inhaling, exhaling, which anybody is doing in his own tempo. Then we will change to the zikr of Allah, which we will do aloud, but not too loud, so that you can still follow the instructions. And Allah we will do on the point of chest. This is basically the meditation we're going to do. And after Allah, I will give then instructions or the next steps. Just I will tell everything to you what to do, and it's just follow the instructions and you will be in. Yes, and what we're doing by this is to build up the energy field. This should be the effect of the whole thing, that you energize your system. And this is always a nice image. Hopefully it's the same thing what's going on here in the slide is going on in yourself.
This energy, where it goes, because in thermodynamics, all the energy is, thermodynamics with entropy, etc. All this energy.
You have to concentrate it in yourself. Yeah, this is what we're trying to do, to accumulate the energy. Like, I mean, it is not a special thing we do today. This is actually what is the basic aim of Zikr in general. You have to accumulate energy. Only what we do now, we define it a little bit more precise. We don't just do some holy names, but with this little bit theoretical approach, we are more, let's say, more aware of what we are doing. This is the difference. But it is in the end, it's a regular dhikr. It's nothing special. It's nothing different than a regular dhikr.
The point is that we escape from this polarity, no?
Yes.
So we do
The point is, yes. The point is to overcome the polarity and somehow to build up the spiritual energy.
But I do dhikr, I couldn't escape my polarity.
Yeah, it's true.
I continue.
I have the same problem. Yeah, in the end, it's training. In the end, it's just
Without end. Until you're on true.
I don't hope without end. I hope there will be one day.
May- so instead of who, any holy attribute or attribute of Allah can be used, because the Yahoo itself is not part of the regular practice.
Yes. I mean, Yahoo is now especially connected with these qualities, like Ya for the consciousness, because Ya is opening up, and Who is connected to willpower. But don't ask me to explain it now. It's a little bit. We just do it, and though there's nothing dangerous, don't be afraid. We just do holy names, and nobody will explode. Or
Okay. We will be without willpower.
you will go out as a broken man, for sure. Okay, and before entering this dhikr, we do another dhikr for the basic cleaning. This is also related to the same points of Lata'if. This is also known in the tradition, like La ilaha illallah. You see the same, you have the same. This is also related to this circle again. Because the traditional movement, what you do with La ilaha illallah, is you move it from here, La, I, right shoulder, La, Ha, illallah, in the chest. Like La ilaha illallah. And this is what we will do just to a little bit warm up in the beginning. But our main meditation will be the other one, and this is why I put the slide again. So if you like to remind yourself, you can take a quick look in the slide. Okay.
Better to sit down now.
We will sit in a circle, and I have some other gimmicks to support the whole thing.
And you put this product for purification?
Yes, I will explain everything what I do. This is we do some Bachur, and what we use for it is this is a seed of harmal. This is known in Moroccan, for example, they use it a lot. And the other one is coriander. So we will. This is actually this is one of the oldest incense what is used by mankind, and this has a very strong effect of purification and neutralizing evil powers. So I can only recommend everybody should have this at home. It's really powerful. Harmal and coriander together. Yes, coriander.
Not in powder. Coriander not in powder.
No, this is seeds, whole seeds. Yes.
Und das andere ist auf Deutsch was?
Syrische Steppenraute.
Oha. Syrische musst du aufschreiben. Syrische Steppenraute?
Raute, syrische Steppenraute. So, I ask you to do a regular circle and really take care that the circle is regular, because irgendwie in die Mitte, dass die irgendwie auf mich, weiß ich nicht. Versuch mal. Kannst du das den Mehrfachstecker noch ein bisschen rausziehen? Also ich werde hier sitzen.
Okay.
Ja. Okay, please do a regular circle. And this should be also, I mean, it makes in the end a big difference if you have a circle regular or if you have like an egg or just destroyed, because a circle, this is from holy geometry, from ancient geometry. Any circle, even if you write a circle on the paper, it will create in the center, a spiritual power will be created. This is a physical law. So this will happen, and so when the circle is made proper, the more proper the circle is made, the more powerful the power is going to be. And a little bit back.
When we do the prayer, we are also asked to have a straight line, but nobody do
Yeah,
nobody
it's
do the line.
exactly. I mean, in the end, these geometric features, I mean, don't underrate it. It's in the end, it's an important thing, but
it is important
yes.
to have a straight line, but nobody
yes.
And not only this, Maulana told us near to touch your
Shoulder.
Yes, if you like.
because no shaitan
Yes.
can
Yes.
straight line.
But
Okay,
let
and this
it
is another
open.
thing I asked Yusuf some weeks ago to make it for me. So this will be, I put it in the center, and this will also give a little bit more, let's say, support for because any form, I mean, in this, if a form has a certain quality in it, it will attract the powers related to this form. So, as we said, this is the final aim of the transformation process in the Enneagram. So, this symbol in the center, it will give the information for what we are aiming. This is what will happen.
Kann es sein, dass es doch ein bisschen eiförmig ist?
Ja, ich meine, wir wollen da jetzt nicht,
Ellipse. Ja, er muss ja auch.
wir wollen da jetzt nicht irgendwie so päpstlicher sein als der Papst.
Okay. Ja, wenn du sagst, das macht Unterschiede.
Das macht Unterschied, aber wenn man kann es auch dann übertreiben, dann macht es wieder einen Unterschied in die andere Richtung. Okay, Bismillah.
Das Bewusstsein für Kreise ist noch nicht so entwickelt. Das Bewusstsein für Kreise ist noch nicht so entwickelt.
Quantities? How many milligrams?
Huh?
No, joke.
No, sure, I'm very aware of what I'm doing.
Moi, je vais pas tenir longtemps. Hein.
Mom, you come inside or?
No, how much time do you think you need?
Let's start.
Just start?
Maximum half hour.
For the food, then maybe they start before you or
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
You see.
Maybe less, maybe 20 minutes.
Bismillah. Said Allah.
We need it.
Allah bless you.
You don't need the food anymore.
Yes.
We need this food.
is the camera? Okay. Yeah, what can we do? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay.
And we drink some tea. I'm very, because
It's from
I
the
like
restaurant.
I like to laugh.
Okay.
Great.
Sister also coming?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Inside the circle.
You slipped. I had to pick up a sister and a brother, so.
No problem. Okay. Then, for adapt reasons, I have to wear the stuff. Okay, whatever we do it not too loud because I will do instructions in between, and if you can just always continue until I say you start something else. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلمنه لا إله إلا الله 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 لا Okay, continue. لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله محمد رسول الله. Okay, stop. And now everybody is starting to breathe in with Ya. Put your right pointing finger on 3 fingers under the navel, and you can also leave it there to have the point. And the other finger, the other pointing of the left hand, you put on the 3rd eye point. And you can also leave it there, that you have these points consciously. And then everybody makes in his own rhythm, is breathing in with Ya, like, and concentrating on the point under your navel and putting the impulse that you are aware of your being. You remember the pure being, just to be, without any quality. Ya, breathing in, Hu, breathing out. But first we concentrate only on the point under the navel. Like, okay, continue to do it. Anything else is not important. You just breathe in and you concentrate all your attention on the point under the navel, and you feel your being there. Concentrate all your attention on this point only. Anything else is not important. And you feel like this point is opening up. And you feel there's a power concentrating in this point. Putting yourself to be alive. And it feels like a strong horse on which you are sitting. Imagine this. You're sitting like on a strong horse and you feel it under yourself. And you're sitting firmly on this horse. You can move your body a little bit left to right, forward, back, but this point remains stable. And you feel yourself like sitting on the strong horse. You can feel all the vital power which is in your soul. Concentrate all the energy on this point, all the attention, and feel your being on this point. Now we are keeping still, we are keeping this point in mind, but we are turning now to the other point, to the third eye point. And by breathing out, we relax our eyes so that our focus is infinite. And by breathing out, we're putting all the willpower which we have available, we put in this point. Still be aware, you are sitting on your strong horse. Now you feel a connection between these 2 points. The vital power you have activated, you can pick it up by the other point. And through your willpower, you feel be able to fly above all things, everything which is inside of you and which is outside of you. By breathing out, you feel you can fly above everything. Whatever is in yourself, from good qualities, from bad qualities, you just let it go and you say you accept it like it is. In this moment, you accept the wisdom of Allah, that He is creating this moment with every quality, good or bad, in yourself. By breathing out and through, you are able to fly above the whole picture of yourself. As if there is a ray of light also coming out of your third eye, which can see everything what is in yourself and outside of yourself, but you are not afraid of it. You just can look at it and let it go like it is. Still you're feeling you are sitting on your strong horse, and this horse is like beginning to leave the ground and hovering, leaving the ground, and you can fly over all things. Now put the maximum power on your third eye point. And say in yourself, Ya Allah, whatever it is, I accept how you do it, how you create it right now. And you feel like you are falling in love with everything what is. You love it because it is all of it out of divine wisdom. And now be aware of these 2 points. You feel like a tension between these 2 points. And in the center, in the middle of this line between these 2 points, is your chest. And inside your chest, you are now connecting these 2 points. You feel like they are moving inside your chest. But still you are doing like Ya, breathing in, Hu, breathing out. Okay. 3 times we do it. Left. 3 times. Ya. And now concentrate all your attention in the center of your chest. Everything else is unimportant. Okay, last time. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Allah, 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 Allah. Okay, continue with it. Allah, 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 Allah. Feel like the holy name pumping in the center of your chest. Allah, 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 Allah. Continue. The two fingers you can put away from the points from your forehead and from your navel. Just you concentrate on the center point in your chest. Allah, 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 Allah. Concentrate more, accumulate it more on this point, at the center of your chest. Now, this point in your chest is slowly wandering above your head, on your back, along your back, it's wandering, and finally coming to stand still, like 20 centimeters above your head. And you concentrate all the power there. You can also look with your eyes, with your physical eyes, you can look above. You have your eyes closed, but you look above to this point. Concentrate all the power in this point, which is outside of yourself. Accumulate all the energy in this point, 20 centimeters above your head. And you feel yourself like leaving your body and present in this point. Now you make this point moving slowly into the center of our circle, coming to stand still like 2 meters above the center of our circle. And you concentrall the power there. And now with full power, with every power what you have in yourself, put your power in this spot, at this point, 2 meters above the center. Everybody's making. this spot where we concentrated all of our powers, it is like a sun in the center of the circle, 2 meters high, and we feel now there's like warm rays of light coming out of it and shining off all of ourselves. It's expanding now, like a bright sun, shining and enlightening all of the room, all of the mosque. Like a warm and lovely power of light and love. We're expanding, we feel our chest is expanding, everything is expanding and relaxing. This lovely power of light and love we are sending out in whole of the world. Expanding out of the building, going out everywhere. Okay, last time. Relax. Breathe in and breathe out according to your rhythm, which you are now in. إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعليه وصحبه الكرام وإلى مشايخنا الكرام في الطريقة النقشبندية العلية خاصة إلى روح إمام الطريقة وغوث الخليقة خواجة الشهبار نقشبند مولانا ويسي بخاري وإلى مولانا الشيخ عبد الله الفائز الدارستاني وإلى مولانا شيخنا محمد ناظم اللقاني الرباني وإلى مولانا الشيخ محمد الرباني وإلى سائر ساداتنا والصديقين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم